March 21, 2023, 9:00 a.m. Elon Musk stood at the glass doors of 2401 Broadway in Oakland, a building he once owned, a building he had given away to help a struggling friend 22 years ago. The security guard looked at his list, looked at Elon, and said no. "I'm sorry, sir. You're not on the approved visitor list. I have to ask you to leave." Behind the guard on the lobby wall hung a photograph: success, handshakes, expensive suits, and in the background, barely visible through a glass wall, was something everyone had forgot, something that would change everything. Elon turned and walked to his car. He sat in the driver's seat, staring at the building through his windshield. Then he pulled out his phone. 7 minutes. That's all it took. 7 minutes to remember a broken promise. 7 minutes to see what everyone else had missed. 7 minutes to decide that some things are worth more than money. 7 minutes to buy back the past and build a different future. This is the true story of what happened when the world's richest man was told he wasn't important enough to walk through a door, and what he did about it in the next 420 seconds. The morning air felt cold against Elon's face as he stepped out of his Tesla Model S. It was a Tuesday in March 2023, and the sun was just starting to peek over the hills behind the Tesla Gigafactory in Fremont, California. But Elon wasn't here for Tesla today. He was here for something else, something from his past. He stood in front of a 4-story brick building at 2401 Broadway in Oakland. The building looked nice now. Much nicer than it did 22 years ago when he first bought it. The windows sparkled in the morning light. A big glass door at the front entrance gleamed like a mirror. Above the door, silver letters spelled out Innovation Hub. Elon smiled a little. He remembered when this place had old, dirty windows. He remembered when the door was wooden and always stuck when you tried to open it. He had fixed that door himself once, back in 2001, with a screwdriver and some oil. Today, he wore a simple black t-shirt and jeans. No security guards followed him. No assistants walked beside him with phones and tablets. He looked like any other person walking into an office building on a Tuesday morning. That's how he liked it sometimes. Just being normal, just being himself. He pulled open the glass door and walked inside. The lobby was bright and modern. White walls, gray tile floors. A big desk sat near the middle of the room with a young security guard behind it. The guard looked about 22 years old with short brown hair and a blue uniform that looked too big for him. Behind the guard, on the wall, hung a large photograph in a black frame. Elon could see people shaking hands in the picture. Business people in suits. He would look at that photo more closely in a minute. "Good morning," Elon said to the guard. He walked up to the desk with his hands in his pockets. "I'm here to see Marcus Chen. I have a meeting at 9 o'clock. The young guard looked up from his computer. His name tag said Derek Simmons. Derek had kind eyes, but his face looked serious. He was the type of person who followed rules. Elon could tell right away. "Name, please," Derek asked. He pulled out a clipboard with a list of names on it. "Elon Musk," Elon said. Derek looked down at his list. His finger moved down the page, checking each name carefully. Then he went back to the top and checked again. His eyebrows pushed together in confusion. "I don't see your name here, sir," Derek said. He looked up at Elon. "Are you sure your meeting is today?" "Yes, I'm sure," Elon said. He stayed calm. This happens sometimes. People made mistakes. "Marcus Chen is the CEO of Next Tech Solutions, 3rd floor. He emailed me yesterday to confirm." Derek shook his head. "I'm sorry, sir, but I can't let you up without approval. That's the rule. Let me call my supervisor." Elon nodded. "Okay, thank you." He stepped back from the desk and looked around the lobby while Derek picked up his phone. More employees were starting to arrive now. A woman in a red dress walked past him, talking on her cell phone. 2 young men in hoodies carried coffee cups toward the elevator. None of them looked at Elon. None of them recognized him. That was fine with Elon. He didn't need to be recognized. He just needed to get to his meeting. Sharon, Derek said into the phone. Yeah, I have a gentleman here. Says his name is Elon Musk. Says he has a meeting with Mr. Chen at Next Tech. Uh-huh. Yes, I checked the list twice. Okay, I'll tell him. Derek hung up the phone. His face looked uncomfortable now. Sir, my supervisor says you're not on the approved visitor list. She says Mr. Langford has very strict rules about unauthorized visitors. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Mr. Langford, Elon asked. His voice stayed calm, but something changed in his eyes. Victor Langford. Yes, sir, he owns the building. I know who he is, Elon said quietly. Can you call Marcus Chen directly? Just tell him I'm here. Derek looked nervous now. He glanced at his computer screen, then back at Elon. Sir, I can't do that. My supervisor said no unauthorized visitors. Those are the rules. I could lose my job. Elon pulled out his wallet. He took out his driver's license and placed it on the desk. Here's my ID. I'm not lying about who I am. I really do have a meeting. Derek looked at the license. His eyes went wide. You're really Elon Musk. Yes. Like the Tesla guy, SpaceX. That's me. Derek's face turned red. He picked up the phone again, his hands shaking a little. Sharon, he has an ID, it's really him. Elon Musk, the actual. Yeah, I know, but what? Are you sure? A woman's voice came through the phone, loud enough for Elon to hear. Derek, I don't care if he's the president. No name on the list means no entry. Mr. Langford's orders. Tell him to leave or I'm calling the police. Derek slowly put the phone down. He couldn't look Elon in the eye. Sir, I'm really sorry, but I have to ask you to leave the building. If you don't, my supervisor will call the police. By now, about 15 people had gathered in the lobby. Some were waiting for the elevator. Others had stopped to watch what was happening. A young woman in glasses had her phone out, recording everything. In 2023, everyone recorded everything. Elon looked at Derek. The young guard looked like he wanted to disappear. This wasn't Derek's fault. He was just doing his job, following orders. Elon understood that. It's okay, Elon said. He picked up his driver's license and put it back in his wallet. You're just doing what they told you to do. I'm really sorry, Mr. Musk, Derek said. His voice sounded small now. Don't worry about it. Elon turned to leave. He walked slowly toward the glass door, his footsteps echoing on the tile floor. Everyone in the lobby watched him. The woman with the phone kept recording. Just before he reached the door, Elon stopped. He turned and looked at the big photograph on the wall behind Derek's desk. From here, he could see it better. The photo showed a group of men in expensive suits. They were shaking hands and smiling. In the center stood Victor Langford, older now than Elon remembered, with gray hair and a big smile. Around him were other men in suits, investors probably, rich people celebrating success. But that wasn't what caught Elon's attention. In the background of the photo, barely visible through a glass wall, was another scene. A younger version of Elon stood there, way in the back. He looked about 30 years old, wearing jeans and a PayPal t-shirt. That photo was from 2001. Elon remembered that day. It was the day he first showed Victor around the building, the day he offered Victor free office space. But there was something else in that photo, something behind the glass wall, someone at a computer desk. Elon couldn't see it clearly from where he stood, but he knew it was there. He had seen it when he first walked in. And now, seeing it again, he felt something cold move through his chest. His jaw tightened. His hands, which had been relaxed in his pockets, became fists. He stared at that photo for 10 long seconds. The lobby was quiet now. Everyone watched him. They didn't know what he was looking at. They didn't know what he saw. Finally, Elon turned and pushed through the glass door. The morning air hit his face again, colder than before, or maybe it just felt that way. He walked across the parking lot to his car. The Tesla beeped as he unlocked it. He sat in the driver's seat but didn't start the car. Instead, he just sat there, staring at the building through his windshield. The building he had bought 22 years ago for $12 million. The building where he had helped a struggling young entrepreneur named Victor Langford save his failing company. The building he had sold to Victor for the same price he paid, just to help a friend. The building that Victor had promised would always be yours too, Elon. Always. And now he couldn't even walk through the front door. Elon pulled out his phone. He scrolled through his contacts and found a name, James Rodriguez, his lawyer. He pressed the call button and held the phone to his ear. James answered on the second ring. "Elon, what's up?" "I need information," Elon said. His voice was calm, but there was something hard underneath it, something cold and sharp. "The building at 2401 Broadway in Oakland. I need complete ownership records, every detail, who owns it, how much it's worth, everything." That's oddly specific," James said. "What's going on?" "Just get me the information, fast." "How fast?" "Now." Elon heard James typing on a computer. "Okay, give me 2 minutes." "Thank you." Elon ended the call. He looked up at the building again. On the 3rd floor, he could see people moving behind windows, working, building their companies, chasing their dreams, just like Victor had done 22 years ago, just like that person in the photograph had done. The person behind the glass wall, the person everyone had forgotten, except Elon. Elon hadn't forgotten. His phone buzzed in his hand, but it wasn't James calling back. Not yet. It was an email notification. Elon looked at the screen. The email was from Marcus Chen at Next Tech Solutions. "Elon, so sorry about this morning. Just heard what happened at security. Victor has some new policies I didn't know about. Can we reschedule? I really want to meet. Marcus." Elon deleted the email without responding. He looked at the photo on his phone screen. His background image was a picture of Mars taken by one of his SpaceX rockets. That was the future he was building, a future on another planet, a future where humans would live among the stars. But right now, sitting in this parking lot, he was thinking about the past, about 2001, about promises made and promises broken, about people who got forgotten when success came knocking. His phone rang. "James Rodriguez." "That was fast," Elon said. "You asked for fast," James replied. "Okay, here's what I found. The building at 2401 Broadway is owned by Langford Holdings LLC, primary owner Victor Langford. The building is currently valued at approximately $47 million. It houses 12 different companies, including Next Tech Solutions, which is Langford's main company. The building is not listed for sale. Is that what you needed?" "Yes," Elon said. "That's exactly what I needed." "Why do you ask?" "I'll call you back in a few minutes," Elon said. He ended the call. $47 million. That's what Victor had turned Elon's gift into. A $12 million building given to him with friendship and trust, now worth $47 million. And Elon couldn't even walk through the front door. He made another call, this time to Patricia Wang, his financial advisor at Goldman Sachs. Patricia had worked with Elon for 15 years. She knew how he operated. She knew that when he called with that particular tone in his voice, something big was about to happen. "Patricia," Elon said when she answered, "I need to buy a building." 7 minutes had passed since Derek Simmons had asked him to leave. 7 minutes that were about to change everything. "A building?" Patricia Wang's voice came through the phone speaker. She sounded confused. "Elon, we have a meeting at 11 about the SpaceX launch schedule. Can this wait?" "No," Elon said. He was still sitting in his car staring at the building. "It can't wait." Patricia sighed. She knew that sound in his voice. She had heard it before. When he decided to build rockets, he had that sound. When he decided to make electric cars when everyone said it was impossible, he had that sound. It was the sound of Elon Musk making up his mind about something. And when Elon made up his mind, nothing could stop him. "Okay," Patricia said. "Tell me about this building." 2401 Broadway in Oakland, valued at $47 million. I'll pay $55 million. Cash. I want it closed in 48 hours. Patricia was quiet for 3 seconds. Then she said, "Elon, you can't just buy a building in 48 hours. There are inspections, legal reviews, tenant agreements." "No inspections. No reviews. I know the building. I used to own it." "You what?" "I'll explain later. Can you do it or not?" Patricia was typing now. Elon could hear her fingers hitting the keyboard. "Let me conference in David Kim from legal. Hold on." Elon waited. Through his windshield, he saw more people arriving at the building. Cars pulling into the parking lot. Workers walking through that glass door like it was no big deal. Like anyone could just walk in. Anyone except him. "Elon?" A new voice came on the line. David Kim, the real estate attorney who had helped Elon buy properties for Tesla and SpaceX. "Patricia says you want to buy a building in 2 days." "Yes." "That's ambitious, even for you." "David, I'm not asking if it's normal. I'm asking if it's possible." David was quiet for a moment. "Possible, yes. If the seller accepts the offer, if we waive all contingencies, if we use all cash. It'll be messy, but we could do it. The question is why? What's special about this building?" Elon closed his eyes. What was special about it? Everything. Nothing. It was just bricks and glass and concrete. But it was also more than that. It was about promises. It was about friendship. It was about people who got left behind when success came calling. "Just draft the offer," Elon said. "Send it directly to Victor Langford's personal email. I'll send you his contact information." "Victor Langford," David said. "Wait, isn't he the CEO of Next Tech Solutions? I read about him in TechCrunch last month. Big AI company, very successful." "That's him," Elon said. "And you want to buy his building out from under him." "It's not his building," Elon said quietly. "It's mine, he just forgot that." 22 years earlier, October 2001. The building looked terrible. Elon stood in front of 2401 Broadway on a cold afternoon in October 2001. Paint peeled off the brick walls. 2 windows on the second floor were cracked. The front door was wooden and warped, hanging crooked on old hinges. Trash blew across the empty parking lot, but Elon saw something else. He saw potential. He was 30 years old. Just a few months earlier, eBay had bought PayPal for $15 billion. Elon's share was $180 million. Not bad for a kid who had come to America from South Africa with almost nothing. Not bad for someone who used to sleep in his office because he couldn't afford an apartment. Now he had money, real money, and he wanted to use it to build the future. "You're crazy," his real estate agent Tom Harrison said. Tom was 50 years old and had been selling buildings in Oakland for 25 years. "This place is a dump. The roof leaks. The electrical system is from 1960. You could buy a nice new building in San Francisco for this price." "I don't want a new building in San Francisco," Elon said. He walked up to the crooked door and pushed it open. The hinges squeaked. "I want this one." Inside, the building was even worse. Water stains covered the ceiling. The floor tiles were cracked and broken. Everything smelled like dust and old rain. But Elon walked through each room with a smile on his face. He could see it. Young people working at computers, engineers building robots, programmers writing code that would change the world. This building could be a place where the future got built. "How much?" Elon asked Tom. "Owner wants $15 million, but I can probably get him down to $12 million. The dot-com crash hit him hard." He needs to sell. Offer him $12 million, cash, close in 30 days. Tom shook his head, but he was smiling. You're crazy, Mr. Musk, but okay. 3 months later, in January 2002, Elon stood in that same building, but now it looked different. He had spent $300,000 fixing it up. New windows, fixed roof, new electrical system, fresh paint on all the walls, new tile floors that didn't crack under your feet. The building was beautiful now, and it was empty. Elon had a plan. He would rent office space to young entrepreneurs. People with big ideas but no money. People like him just a few years earlier. He would charge them cheap rent. He would help them meet investors. He would build a community. But first he needed tenants. That's when Victor Langford walked through the door. Victor was 28 years old, tall and thin, with messy black hair and worried eyes. He wore jeans with holes in the knees and a t-shirt that said Langford Systems Software Solutions. He carried a backpack that looked like it weighed 1,000 pounds. "Are you Elon Musk?" Victor asked. "That's me," Elon said. He shook Victor's hand. "What can I do for you?" "I heard you're renting office space. Cheap rent for startups. Is that true?" "It's true." Victor's face looked hopeful for the first time. "How cheap?" "Depends. Tell me about your company." Victor sat down on the floor. There were no chairs yet. Elon sat down across from him, and Victor told his story. He had started Langford Systems 3 years ago in 1999, right before the dot-com bubble burst. His company made software for small businesses, accounting programs, inventory management, boring stuff but useful stuff. For a while, things went well. He had 15 employees, offices in San Jose, real furniture and everything. Then the bubble popped. The market crashed. Technology companies went bankrupt left and right. Victor's investors pulled out. His employees quit. His landlord kicked him out when he couldn't pay rent. Now it was just Victor, working from his apartment in Fremont, living on ramen noodles and hope. His company was dying. He was dying with it. "How much money do you have left?" Elon asked. "About $3,000, Victor said. He looked down at his hands. "Maybe enough for 2 more months, then I'm done." Elon nodded slowly. He knew that feeling. He had been there once, broke and scared and wondering if his dreams were just stupid ideas. "I'll tell you what," Elon said. "You can have office space here, free, for 2 years." Victor's head snapped up. "Free? Why would you do that?" "Because 5 years ago I was you," Elon said. "Broke, scared, 1 month away from giving up. Someone helped me. Now I'm helping you." Tears filled Victor's eyes. I don't know what to say." "Say thank you and get to work," Elon said. He stood up and held out his hand. "Welcome to Innovation Hub." Victor shook his hand. His grip was strong. His eyes were determined now instead of worried. "Thank you, Elon. I won't forget this. Ever." Back to present, March 2023. Elon's phone buzzed again. Patricia and David were calling back. "We have the offer drafted," David said. "Letter of intent. 55 million, all cash, 48-hour closing. No contingencies. I'm sending it to you now to review." "Don't send it to me," Elon said. "Send it directly to Victor Langford now." "Elon, you really should review." "Send it now." Elon heard David sigh. "Okay, sending now. His email is vlangford@nextechsolutions.com, correct?" "That's correct." Sent email just went out at 9:07 a.m. Elon looked at his watch. 7 minutes. 7 minutes since Derek Simmons had asked him to leave the building. 7 minutes since he had seen that photograph on the wall. 7 minutes since he had remembered what Victor had promised him 22 years ago. "Always your building too, Elon. Always." Elon watched the front entrance. People kept walking in and out, normal people having a normal Tuesday morning. They had no idea what was happening. They had no idea that in the next few minutes everything would change. At 9:08, movement caught his eye. Through the third-floor windows, he saw someone running, a man in a suit moving fast between desks. Other people were turning to look at him. He was pointing at something, shouting maybe. Elon couldn't hear from the parking lot, but he could see it. Victor had gotten the email. The man in the suit that was Victor, Elon was sure now, disappeared from the window. 30 seconds later, the front glass door burst open. Victor Langford ran out, his suit jacket flying behind him, his tie loose around his neck. He looked older than in the photograph. His hair was gray now, not black. His face had lines around the eyes and mouth. But it was definitely Victor, the same person Elon had helped 22 years ago. The same person who had promised to remember. Victor's eyes found Elon's car. He ran across the parking lot, waving his arms. Elon rolled down his window. He waited, calm, patient. He had all the time in the world now. Victor reached the car, breathing hard. His face was red. His eyes were wide and confused and maybe a little scared. "Elon," Victor gasped. I didn't know. I didn't know you were coming today." Elon looked at him. He didn't smile. He didn't frown. His face showed nothing at all. "I had an appointment," Elon said. His voice was quiet and cold. "Your security turned me away." Victor's hands shook as he pulled out his phone. "That was a mistake, a terrible mistake. Derek didn't know who you were. I'll fire him right now. Don't fire him," Elon said. "He was following your rules." Victor's face went pale. "My rules? No, I never said." "Your building, your security policies, your orders about unauthorized visitors." Elon's voice stayed calm and cold. "Derek was just doing his job." "But I didn't mean you," Victor said. His voice was getting louder now, desperate. "You're different, you're." "Not on the list," Elon finished. "That's what matters, right? Rules are rules." Victor opened his mouth to say something, then stopped. His eyes moved down to the phone in his hand. The email, the offer, $55 million. "Elon, you can't be serious about this." Victor held up his phone. "This offer, you can't really want to buy my building." "Why not?" Elon asked. "It's for sale, isn't it?" "No, it's not for sale. I never listed it." "Everything is for sale, Victor, for the right price." Victor ran his hand through his gray hair. He looked back at the building, then at Elon again. "This is my life's work. Everything I built is in that building. My company, my employees, 12 different startups that depend on me." "You built it in a space I gave you," Elon said. Each word came out slow and careful. "With connections I provided, with support I offered when everyone else said you were finished." "I know that," Victor's voice cracked. "I know what you did for me. I've never forgotten." "Haven't you?" Elon tilted his head slightly. "Then why can't I walk through the front door?" Victor's mouth opened and closed. No words came out. He looked like a fish drowning in air. Inside the building, people were gathering at the windows now. They could see their boss standing in the parking lot arguing with someone in a Tesla. Some of them had their phones out. More videos, more proof of what was happening. "Get in the car," Elon said suddenly. "What?" "Get in. We need to talk privately." Victor looked back at the building again, all those faces watching him. He nodded slowly and walked around to the passenger side. He opened the door and sat down. The door closed with a soft click. For a moment, neither of them spoke. They just sat there in Elon's car, two men who used to be friends, separated by 22 years and something broken between them. "Why?" Victor finally said. "Why are you doing this?" "You really don't know?" Elon asked. "No, I don't. We haven't talked in years, but I thought we were okay, I thought." "When was the last time we spoke?" Elon interrupted. "Really spoke, not an email, not a text message. When?" Victor thought about it. "I don't. Maybe 2018. 5 years ago, you called to congratulate me when Next Tech got its Series C funding." "That's right," Elon said. 2018, I called you. And do you remember what you said?" Victor's face showed he didn't remember. "You said thank you," Elon continued. "You said the funding round went great. You said your company was going to change the world. And then you said you had to go. You were busy, too busy to talk to an old friend." "I was busy," Victor said weakly. "We were hiring 50 new people, moving to a bigger office. There was so much." "I called you 3 more times that year," Elon said. "You never called back. I sent emails, nothing. It was like you disappeared." Victor looked down at his hands in his lap. "I'm sorry, things got crazy. The company grew so fast. I had investors to meet, employees to manage. You got successful," Elon said, "and you didn't need me anymore." "That's not fair." "Isn't it?" Elon turned to look at Victor directly now. "When you were broke and scared and sleeping in your office, I was there. When you needed connections to investors, I made the calls. When your first product launch failed and you wanted to quit, I told you to keep going. I was there for all of that." Victor's eyes were wet now. "I know, and I'm grateful, I really am." "But gratitude ends when success begins," Elon said. "That's what I learned from you." "That's not true," Victor said, but his voice had no strength in it, because maybe it was true. Maybe that's exactly what had happened. Elon's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen. A text message from Patricia Wang. "Victor's assistant just called our office. Says Victor needs time to think. What do I tell her?" Elon typed back, "Tell her the offer expires in 48 hours. No extensions." He put his phone away and looked at Victor again. "I'm not trying to hurt you, Victor. I'm trying to understand. What happened to us? What happened to the person who sat on the floor with me in 2002 and promised he'd never forget?" Victor took a deep breath. His hands were still shaking. "Can I tell you the truth, the real truth?" "Please." "In 2018, something happened," Victor began. His voice was quiet now, ashamed. "A Chinese investment firm called Sunrise Tech offered me $200 million for my company. $200 million, Elon. More money than I ever dreamed of." "And you took it," Elon said. "Not at first. I wanted to think about it, talk to my lawyers. But then they told me about a condition in the deal. One condition that I had to accept if I wanted the money." Elon felt something cold move through his chest. He already knew what Victor was going to say, but he needed to hear it. "They said I had to minimize my association with you," Victor said. The words came out in a rush now, like he'd been holding them in for 5 years. "Sunrise Tech competes with Tesla in China. They make electric cars. Not as good as Tesla, but they're big over there. They saw you as a threat, a competitor. They didn't want their investment connected to you in any way." "So you agreed," Elon said. "I didn't think it would matter," Victor said. "I thought we barely talk anymore anyway. You're busy with SpaceX and Tesla. I'm busy with my company. What difference would it make?" "And the security policies?" Elon asked. "The no unauthorized visitors rule?" Victor's face crumbled. "That was them too. Sunrise Tech's lawyers made me sign a contract, very specific language. I had to maintain professional distance from you. No meetings, no partnerships, no public associations. They even have someone who monitors everything, every email, every visitor log. If your name showed up, they'd know." "So when Marcus Chen invited me to meet about a partnership?" "I panicked," Victor said. "I sent out the memo about security, about the visitor list. I thought if you couldn't get in, Marcus couldn't meet with you, and Sunrise Tech wouldn't find out. I was trying to protect my deal." Elon sat very still. Outside, the morning was getting brighter. More cars filled the parking lot. More people walked into the building. Normal life continuing while Victor's world fell apart in the passenger seat of a Tesla. "Do you know why Sunrise Tech was so afraid of me?" Elon asked. "Because you're their competition," Victor said. No, because in 2017 I recommended your company to 3 major clients: General Motors, Ford, Toyota. I told them Next Tech Solutions was the best AI firm in the country. Those 3 contracts became the foundation of your $200 million valuation. Without me, without those recommendations, you'd have been worth maybe $30 million. Maybe. Victor started crying now, real tears running down his face. I know, God, Elon, I know. That's why I feel so terrible. You built my success and I erased you from it. You didn't just erase me, Elon said. His voice was still calm, but there was something hard underneath it now. Something sharp. You erased everyone who helped you get there. Everyone who believed in you when no one else would. What do you mean? Elon pointed at the building. That photograph in the lobby, the one with you and your investors, I saw it this morning. Okay. Do you remember who else is in that photograph? In the background, behind the glass wall. Victor's face went blank. I don't know. There are a lot of people in that photo. Exactly, Elon said. You don't even remember. Victor's phone buzzed, then buzzed again and again, text messages flooding in. Elon could see them lighting up the screen, his employees, his investors, everyone asking what was happening. Why was Elon Musk making an offer on their building? Why was Victor sitting in Elon's car? I need to answer these, Victor said, looking at his phone. Go ahead, Elon said. I have some calls to make too. But Elon didn't make calls. He just sat there, watching Victor's fingers shake as he typed responses to all those worried messages. Watching a man realize that everything he built might disappear in the next 48 hours. 7 minutes had passed since Victor ran out of the building. 7 minutes since the offer was sent. 7 minutes that showed Victor exactly what it felt like to have your whole world change in an instant. Just like it had changed for someone else, a long time ago. Someone in that photograph. Someone Victor couldn't even remember, but Elon remembered. And in the next 48 hours, Victor was going to remember too. Victor's phone wouldn't stop buzzing, message after message. His assistant Linda, his chief technology officer, board members, investors, everyone wanted to know what was happening. I need to go back inside, Victor said. He reached for the door handle. I need to talk to my team, calm everyone down. Wait, Elon said. Victor's hand stopped on the handle. What? Do you remember Emma Rodriguez? Victor turned to look at Elon. His face showed confusion. Emma Rodriguez? I don't think so, should I? Elon's jaw tightened. 2002. She was 19 years old, engineering student from San Jose State University. Victor shook his head slowly. I've met a lot of people, Elon. I can't remember everyone from 20 years ago. She worked for you, Elon said. She was your intern. Victor's eyes searched his memory. Nothing. I've had a lot of interns over the years. She was your first intern, Elon said. Each word came out cold and hard. Your only intern for the first 2 years. She worked 60 hours a week. She wrote half of your early software code, the code that made your company successful. Something flickered in Victor's eyes, a distant memory trying to come back. Wait, there was a girl, young, really smart. She worked late every night. I remember her at a computer, always typing. Coffee cups all over her desk. That's her, Elon said. What about her? What happened to her, Victor? Victor looked uncomfortable now. I don't remember exactly. She left, I think. Moved on to another job maybe. Try again, Elon said. Victor rubbed his face with both hands. Okay, look, it was a long time ago. The company was struggling. I couldn't afford to pay people much. She was an intern, unpaid. That's how internships work. For how long? Elon asked. What? How long was she your unpaid intern? I don't know, a few months. 2 years, Elon said. She worked for you for 2 years. No pay. You promised her equity in the company when things got better. Victor's face went pale again. I might have said something like that, but things were complicated. We had investors. They had rules about equity. I couldn't just give shares to everyone who helped. So you gave her nothing, Elon said. I gave her experience. I gave her a reference. That's what internships are for. She dropped out of college because of you, Elon said. His voice was still calm, but anger burned underneath it now. She couldn't afford tuition without getting paid. Her parents were farm workers in Salinas. They had no money. She needed that job to survive, and you used her for 2 years, then threw her away. Victor opened the car door. I don't have to sit here and listen to this. I did nothing wrong. She was an intern. That's how business works. Sit down, Elon said. Something in his voice made Victor stop, made him close the door and sit back down, something hard and final. Emma Rodriguez wrote the battery optimization algorithm that became the foundation of your company, Elon said. She was 19 years old, working from a broken computer in the corner of your office, and she figured out something that companies with millions of dollars couldn't figure out. Do you know what she told me when I met her? Victor didn't answer. She said she wanted to work on renewable energy. She wanted to help save the planet. She had ideas about electric cars, about solar power, about making the world better. She was exactly the kind of person who should have been at Tesla, at SpaceX, building the future. Then why didn't she work for you? Victor asked. Because by the time I really talked to her, you had already broken her, Elon said. She told me she wasn't smart enough, that if she was really good, you would have paid her. You would have given her that equity you promised. She thought she was the problem. Victor stared at his hands. I was trying to survive. I was one bad month away from losing everything. I couldn't afford. I gave you free rent for 2 years, Elon interrupted. I introduced you to 3 investors who gave you $500,000. I personally mentored you every week. You could afford it, Victor. You just chose not to. What happened to her? Victor asked quietly. Her parents got sick in 2004, both of them. Her father hurt his back working in the fields. Her mother had diabetes. Emma went home to take care of them. She never came back to tech. She never finished her degree. Victor's phone buzzed again. He ignored it this time. I'm sorry, Victor said. I really am, but that was 20 years ago. People move on. She probably has a good life now. A family, other things. She runs a small community center in Salinas, Elon said. She teaches kids to code. Kids whose parents work in the fields just like hers did. She makes $35,000 a year. She lives in the same house she grew up in, taking care of her parents who are in their 70s now. That's noble work, Victor said, teaching kids. It is, Elon agreed, but it's not what she dreamed of. It's not what she could have been. Victor looked out the window at his building, all that glass and steel and success. Why are you telling me this? What does Emma Rodriguez have to do with anything? Because she's in that photograph, Elon said. The one in your lobby, the one you walk past every single day. Victor's head snapped around. What? No, that photo is from 2001. It's just me and the investors and... Look closer, Elon said. He pulled out his phone and opened a photo. It was a high-resolution version of the lobby photograph. He zoomed in on the background behind the glass wall where young Elon stood. There, at a computer desk barely visible through the glass, was a young woman. Dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, glasses, a San Jose State sweatshirt. Her face was turned toward her computer screen, concentrated and serious. And on that screen, visible if you looked carefully, was code. Lines and lines of code. That's Emma, Elon said. March 15, 2001. The day that photo was taken, she was writing the battery algorithm, the one that made your company worth $200 million, and you walk past her picture every single day without even knowing she's there. Victor took the phone with shaking hands. He stared at the zoomed-in image. I never noticed. I never looked that close. No one does, Elon said. That's the problem. People like Emma are always in the background, always invisible, until someone decides to really look. Victor handed the phone back. His face looked old now, tired. What do you want from me, Elon? An apology? I'll apologize. I'll find Emma and tell her I'm sorry. I'll write her a check, whatever you want. I don't want your apology, Elon said. And Emma doesn't need your check. Then what? What is this really about? Elon looked at the building again. You sold this building to me in 2003 for $12 million, the same price I paid. You said it was because you wanted to do the right thing. You said you'd never forget what I did for you. Do you remember saying that? Yes, Victor whispered. You promised this building would always be mine too, that I'd always be welcome here, that we were partners, friends. Do you remember that promise? Yes. And now I can't even walk through the front door. Victor closed his eyes. Tears ran down his cheeks again. I broke my promise. I know I did. I'm sorry, Elon. I'm so sorry. You didn't just break a promise to me, Elon said. You broke promises to everyone who helped you. Emma, the other early employees who you pushed out when the money came, the investors I introduced you to, who you stopped returning calls from once bigger investors showed up. You built your empire by erasing everyone who put you there. So you're buying my building to punish me, Victor said. That's what this is, revenge. No, Elon said. I'm buying this building to fix it, to make it what it was supposed to be, a place where people like Emma get a real chance, where promises mean something, where success doesn't require forgetting where you came from. Victor's phone rang. He looked at the screen. It said Sunrise Tech Beijing office. They know, Victor said. His voice sounded dead. They've already heard about your offer. They're going to pull their investment. They're going to destroy me. They're going to destroy you anyway, Elon said. Because you destroyed yourself when you sold your soul for $200 million. Victor answered the phone. Hello? Yes, this is Victor. Yes, I saw the offer. No, I haven't accepted. Yes, I understand. I understand the contract terms. No, I won't. Please, can we just... The voice on the other end got louder. Even Elon could hear it through the phone. Angry Chinese words mixed with English. Contract violation, breach of terms, immediate withdrawal of funding. Victor hung up. His hand dropped into his lap, still holding the phone. They're pulling out, Victor said. All of it. The $200 million, everything. My company will be bankrupt in 6 months. You have a choice, Elon said. You can fight, try to find new investors, spend the next 5 years in court battles with Sunrise Tech, or you can accept my offer, take the $55 million, move your company to a new building, start fresh. Why would you pay that much? Victor asked. The building is worth $47 million. You're offering $55 million. That's $8 million more than it's worth. Because I can afford it, Elon said simply, and because I'm not doing this for money. Victor sat in silence for a long moment. Outside, the morning sun climbed higher in the sky. People walked past the car, going about their normal lives. They had no idea that inside this Tesla, a man's entire world was ending. If I sell you the building, Victor said slowly, what happens to my company, to my employees? We have 200 people working here. You have 90 days to move out, Elon said. I'll help you find a new location, fair rent, no games. And Emma Rodriguez. What about her? Does she know about this, about the photo, about what you're doing? Not yet, Elon said, but she will. Victor nodded slowly. He looked at his phone, then at the building, then at Elon. Can I ask you something? Go ahead. When you saw that photo this morning, when you saw Emma in the background, is that when you decided to buy the building? Elon shook his head. No, I decided years ago. The photo just reminded me why. I don't understand. I've watched you for 5 years, Elon said. Since you took that deal with Sunrise Tech, since you stopped returning my calls, I watched you forget everyone who helped you. I watched you become the kind of person who treats people like Derek, the security guard, like they're invisible, like they don't matter. I was waiting for the right moment to do something about it. And this morning was that moment, Victor said. This morning was perfect, Elon agreed. Victor opened the car door again. This time, Elon didn't stop him. Victor stepped out into the parking lot, then turned back to look at Elon one more time. For what it's worth, Victor said, I really am sorry about everything, about Emma, about us, about the person I became. I know you are, Elon said, but sorry doesn't fix what's broken, action does. Victor closed the door and walked back toward the building. His steps were slow, his shoulders slumped. He looked like a man walking to his own funeral. Elon watched him go. Then he made another phone call. Patricia, it's me. I think Victor is going to accept the offer, start the paperwork. I want to close in 48 hours exactly as planned. Elon, you realize this is going to be in every newspaper tomorrow, right? Elon Musk buys building after being denied entry. The press is going to go crazy. Let them, Elon said. It's a good story. He hung up and started his car. The Tesla's electric engine made no sound, just a soft hum. He pulled out of the parking lot and drove away, leaving the building behind him. But only for now. In 48 hours, it would be his again. And this time he was going to do it right. 2 days later, on Thursday afternoon, Elon stood in a conference room on the 45th floor of 555 California Street in downtown San Francisco. The room had huge windows that looked out over the bay. He could see the Golden Gate Bridge in the distance, its orange tower standing bright against the blue sky. But Elon wasn't looking at the view. He was looking at Victor Langford, who sat across a long wooden table signing papers, one page after another. His hand shook with each signature. 3 lawyers sat around the table. David Kim represented Elon. 2 others represented Victor. Everyone was quiet except for the sound of pen on paper and pages turning. That's the last one, David said. He gathered the papers into a neat stack. The building at 2401 Broadway now belongs to Elon Musk. Congratulations, Mr. Musk. Elon pulled out his checkbook. Yes, an actual paper checkbook. In 2023, most people used electronic transfers for large amounts, but Elon liked writing big checks. It made the moment real, solid, something you could hold in your hand. He wrote carefully, $55 million and 0100. He signed his name at the bottom and slid the check across the table to Victor. Victor stared at it. All those zeros. More money than most people would see in their entire lives. But his face showed no happiness, no relief, just emptiness. Your companies have 90 days to vacate, David said to Victor's lawyers, as outlined in Section 12 of the agreement. We understand, one of Victor's lawyers said. She was a woman in her 50s with gray hair and tired eyes. Mr. Langford has already begun looking for new office space. Good, Elon said. He stood up from the table. Victor, can I speak with you privately, just for a minute? Victor looked surprised. Yes, okay. They walked out of the conference room together, leaving the lawyers behind. The hallway was empty and quiet. Through the windows, San Francisco spread out below them like a toy city. I have a question, Elon said. What is it? Do you have Emma Rodriguez's phone number? Victor shook his head. No, I told you I haven't talked to her in 20 years. But you know where she is, the community center in Salinas. You told me that, I didn't know before. Elon pulled out his phone and opened a note. He showed it to Victor. This is her number. I've stayed in touch with her over the years. Not often, maybe once or twice a year, checking in, making sure she's okay. Victor looked at the number on the screen. Why are you showing me this? Because you need to call her, Elon said. You need to tell her what you did. You need to apologize, not because I'm telling you to, because it's the right thing to do. She probably hates me, Victor said quietly. Maybe, Elon agreed. But she deserves to hear you say you're sorry. She deserves to know that you remember her now. Victor took out his own phone and typed the number into his contacts. His fingers moved slowly, like each digit was heavy. Will you tell me something? Victor asked. Why do you care so much about Emma? You barely knew her. She worked for me, not you. Elon was quiet for a moment. He looked out the window at the city below. When I was building PayPal, there was a woman named Sarah Chen who worked in our office. She was a receptionist, answered phones, greeted visitors. Everyone walked past her desk every day like she was furniture. Okay, Victor said. One day I was working late. Everyone else had gone home. Sarah was still there, sitting at her desk, but she wasn't answering phones. She was coding. She had taught herself to program by watching YouTube videos at night. What happened to her? I gave her a job as a junior developer. She's now a senior engineer at Tesla. She designed part of the self-driving software. One of the smartest people I've ever worked with. Victor nodded slowly, starting to understand. The world is full of people like Sarah and Emma, Elon continued. People who are brilliant but invisible. People who never get a real chance because they don't have the right connections or the right background or the right luck. I can't help all of them, but I can help some of them. And when I can help, I do. That's why you're buying the building, Victor said. Not to punish me, to help people like Emma. Yes. Will she work there, at the building? I'm going to ask her, Elon said. But that's her choice. I'm not going to force anything. I'm just going to offer her what you should have offered 20 years ago. A real opportunity, fair pay, respect. Victor put his phone back in his pocket. I really did forget her. I don't know how, I don't know when. But somewhere along the way, I stopped seeing the people who helped me. I only saw the people I needed next. That's what success does to some people, Elon said. It makes them forget where they came from, who helped them climb. They reach the top and kick away the ladder behind them. Is that what I did? You tell me. Victor looked down at his expensive shoes, his tailored suit, his Rolex watch that probably cost more than Emma made in a year. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. They stood in silence for a moment. Below them, tiny cars moved through the streets, tiny people walking on sidewalks, everyone living their lives, having no idea that up here, 45 floors above them, a man was finally seeing himself clearly for the first time in years. I'm going to call her, Victor said. Today, right now. Good, Elon said. Tell her the truth, all of it. She deserves that. Victor held out his hand. Thank you, Elon. I know that sounds crazy. You just bought my building. My investors abandoned me. My company is dying. But somehow I think you did me a favor. You showed me who I became, and maybe now I can fix it. Elon shook his hand. You're welcome, and Victor, your company isn't dying. You still have your talent, your team, your ideas. You just lost some money. Money comes and goes. Character is what matters. Victor smiled for the first time since Tuesday morning. A sad smile, but real. When did you get so wise? I'm not wise, Elon said. I've just made enough mistakes to know what matters. They walked back to the conference room together. The lawyers were packing up their briefcases, getting ready to leave. David Kim handed Elon a folder with all the signed documents. It's official, David said. You own the building. Elon took the folder but didn't open it. He knew what was inside: legal papers, property deeds, documents that said he owned bricks and glass and steel, but that's not what he really bought. He bought a chance to do something right, a chance to remember the people everyone else forgot. An hour later, Elon sat in his car in the parking garage under the building. He needed to make a phone call, an important one, the most important one. He scrolled through his contacts and found the name, Emma Rodriguez. His finger hovered over the call button. What would he say? How do you tell someone that you just bought a building because you saw their picture on a wall? How do you explain that you're trying to fix a 20-year-old mistake that wasn't even yours? He pressed the button. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Hello, a woman's voice, careful, cautious. She didn't recognize the number. Emma, it's Elon Musk. Silence, then, Elon, really? Wow, it's been. How long has it been? About a year, Elon said. I called last March to see how you were doing. Right, I remember now. You asked about my parents, about the community center. Emma's voice was warm now, friendly. Is everything okay? You don't usually call out of the blue. Everything is fine, Elon said. Actually, everything is better than fine. I need to talk to you about something. Can you talk right now? Sure, I'm at the center. We just finished a coding class for middle schoolers. Let me go to my office. Elon heard footsteps, a door closing, then quiet. Okay, I'm here, Emma said. What's going on? You sound serious. Do you remember the building where you worked in 2002? The one in Oakland, 2401 Broadway. Emma was quiet for a moment. Victor's building. Yes, I remember. I try not to think about it much, but I remember. I bought it, Elon said simply. You, what? 2 days ago, I bought the building. It's mine now. Why? Emma asked. I mean, that's great, but why would you buy Victor's building? Because I saw your picture, Elon said. My picture. In the lobby. There's a photograph from 2001. You're in the background, working at your computer. I saw it on Tuesday morning and I realized something. You've been in the background of that picture for 22 years. Walking past yourself every day without anyone noticing you were there, without anyone remembering what you did. Emma's voice got quiet. Elon, I don't understand. What does this have to do with buying the building? I want you to run it, Elon said. Silence. Emma, are you still there? I'm here, she said. Her voice sounded strange now, tight, like she was trying not to cry. What do you mean, run it? I'm turning the building into a real innovation hub. Free office space for startups, but not just any startups. Companies led by people like you. First-generation college students. People from families that don't have money or connections. People who are brilliant but invisible. I want you to choose them, mentor them, help them build their companies the right way. Elon, I'm not qualified for something like that. I never even finished my degree. I've been teaching kids basic HTML and Python for 15 years. I can't. You're the most qualified person I know, Elon interrupted. You understand what it's like to be overlooked, to work hard and get nothing, to have your dreams taken away. Those are the people who need help, and you know how to help them because you've been there. I don't know what to say, Emma whispered. Say yes, Elon said. The salary is $250,000 a year, plus equity in a new nonprofit I'm creating called the Innovation Access Foundation. You'll have a team, a real budget, the power to make decisions. And most importantly, you'll have respect. The respect you deserved 22 years ago. Emma was crying now. Elon could hear it through the phone, small, quiet sobs that she was trying to hold back. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. "I don't understand why you care." "Because someone should have done it a long time ago," Elon said. "Because you were 19 years old with amazing ideas, and instead of helping you, the world pushed you down. I can't fix the past, but I can fix the future, for you and for everyone like you." "When would I start?" Emma asked. "Is Monday too soon?" Emma laughed through her tears. "Monday is perfect." "Good, I'll have my assistant send you all the details. Contract, benefits, everything." And Emma, "Yes. Victor is going to call you, probably today. He wants to apologize." Emma was quiet for a long moment. "After 20 years. "After 20 years, Elon confirmed. "You don't have to talk to him if you don't want to. You don't owe him anything, but I thought you should know." "Okay," Emma said. "Thank you for telling me." "And Emma, one more thing." "What?" "Bring your parents to the opening ceremony. I want them to see what their daughter is going to do. I want them to be proud." Emma couldn't speak now. She just cried. Happy tears this time. Tears of relief and joy and disbelief that sometimes, after 20 years of waiting, dreams really do come true. "I'll see you Monday," Elon said gently. "Welcome home, Emma." He hung up and sat in his car for a few minutes just thinking. In 3 months, that building would be full of people like Emma, people who deserved a chance, people who would change the world if someone just gave them the tools to do it. His phone buzzed. A text message from Victor. "I called her. We talked for an hour. Thank you for making me do that." Elon smiled and put his phone away. 7 minutes on Tuesday morning had started this, but the real work was just beginning. 3 months later, on a bright Tuesday morning in June 2023, the building at 2401 Broadway looked completely different. The old brick had been cleaned until it glowed warm and red in the sunlight. New windows sparkled from every floor. The parking lot was freshly paved, with clean white lines marking each space. And the front entrance, the place where Derek Simmons had turned Elon away just 90 days ago, now had a beautiful new glass door with words etched across it in silver letters. "The Rodriguez Innovation Center." Underneath, in smaller letters, "Where everyone gets a real chance." Inside, the lobby had been completely transformed. The gray tile was gone, replaced with warm wooden floors. Comfortable chairs sat in small groups, places where people could meet and talk and share ideas. The walls were covered with photographs, not of rich investors shaking hands, but of real people working, coding, building, creating. And in the center of the main wall, in a frame 10 feet tall, was the photograph. The one from 2001, but now it was different. Now the image was cropped to focus on the background, on the young woman at her computer. Emma Rodriguez at 19 years old, writing code that would change the world while everyone looked the other way. Below the photograph, a silver plaque read, "She saw the future. We just weren't looking." Emma stood in the lobby now at 29 years old. Wait, no, she would be 40 now in 2023. She stood at 40 years old, wearing a dark blue dress she had bought special for today. Her parents stood beside her. Miguel and Rosa Rodriguez, both in their 70s now. Miguel wore his best suit, the one he wore to church. Rosa wore a yellow dress and held a tissue in her hand, already crying happy tears. "Mija," Miguel said softly, looking up at the giant photograph of his daughter. "That's really you up there." "Yes, Papa," Emma said. She squeezed his hand. "That's me." "So big," Rosa said. "You look so serious, so smart." "She was always smart," Miguel said. He had tears in his eyes too. Even when she was little, always taking things apart, always asking why, always wanting to understand how things worked. The lobby was filling up now. People arriving for the grand opening ceremony. Reporters from the San Francisco Chronicle and the San Jose Mercury News. Tech journalists from TechCrunch and Wired. Local politicians, including Mayor London Breed from San Francisco and the Mayor of Oakland. And entrepreneurs, 15 of them. The first group of startups chosen to work in the Rodriguez Innovation Center. They stood together near the windows, looking around with wide eyes and excited faces. Most of them were in their 20s. Some were younger. All of them came from backgrounds like Emma's, parents who worked with their hands, families who struggled to pay bills, dreams that seemed impossible until today. One young man stood a little apart from the others. His name was Carlos Mendoza. He was 22 years old with dark hair and nervous hands that kept moving, touching his tie, adjusting his collar. He wore a suit that didn't quite fit, borrowed from his older brother. His startup was called Agri-Tech Solutions. He was building software to help small farmers track soil health and crop yields. Software that could help families like his own, farm workers in Salinas who had worked the same land for generations. Emma had chosen him first. The moment she read his application, she knew. She saw herself in every word he wrote. The same hunger, the same hope, the same fear that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't good enough. But he was good enough. They all were. At 10:00 a.m., Emma walked to a small podium set up near the center of the lobby. A microphone stood on top. Speakers had been placed around the room so everyone could hear. The crowd quieted down, turning to look at her. Emma's hands shook as she gripped the edges of the podium. Public speaking had never been her strength. She was better with computers than with people, better with code than with words. But today the words needed to be said. "Good morning," she said. Her voice came out softer than she wanted. She cleared her throat and tried again. "Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here." The crowd smiled at her, encouraging, patient. 22 years ago, Emma continued, I stood in this building as a 19-year-old intern. I worked at a computer in a back office, writing code 60 hours a week. I loved that work. I loved solving problems. I loved the feeling of making something new, something that could help people. She paused and looked at the giant photograph of herself on the wall. But I was invisible. I was just the intern, just the girl in the background. When success came to this building, I wasn't part of it. I was forgotten, erased, like I had never been here at all. Some people in the crowd nodded. They understood. They had been invisible too. For 20 years, I thought that was my fault, Emma said. I thought if I had been smarter, better, more valuable, someone would have remembered me. Someone would have given me a chance. But I was wrong. It wasn't about being good enough. It was about being seen. She looked out at the 15 entrepreneurs, at Carlos and the others. That's what this place is about. Being seen, being valued, being given a real chance, not because you have connections or money or the right last name, but because you have ideas and passion and the courage to try. The crowd began to clap, soft at first, then louder. Emma smiled, tears in her eyes. 3 months ago, I was teaching basic coding to middle schoolers in Salinas. Good work, important work, but not my dream. I had given up on my dreams. And then Elon Musk called me and said something I'll never forget. He said, "Someone should have done this for you 20 years ago." And he gave me the chance I thought I'd never have. She gestured toward the back of the room where Elon stood quietly near the wall. He wore his usual black t-shirt and jeans. No suit, no tie, just himself. He had been trying to stay out of the spotlight, letting Emma have her moment, but now everyone turned to look at him. Elon could have done anything with this building, Emma said. He could have torn it down and built expensive condos. He could have made it into another Tesla showroom. He could have made millions of dollars. But instead, he decided to give people like me, people like us. She gestured to the entrepreneurs, a place where dreams don't die, where being invisible ends. The crowd stood up now, clapping louder. Some people were crying. Miguel and Rosa stood with tears streaming down their faces, clapping for their daughter who had finally gotten her chance. Elon walked to the front of the room. He didn't like public speaking either, but Emma stepped back from the podium and gestured for him to take her place. "Thank you, Emma," Elon said. His voice was calm and clear through the microphone. What Emma didn't tell you is that the code she wrote in 2002, sitting at that computer in the background of this photograph, influenced the development of modern electric vehicle battery management. Her ideas she had at 19 years old, helped shape the technology we use today. Gasps from the crowd. Emma's eyes went wide. She hadn't known that. Elon had never told her. She should have been famous, Elon continued. She should have been rich. She should have been at every tech conference giving talks and winning awards. But instead, she was forgotten. And that's not just wrong, it's a waste. A waste of talent, a waste of potential, a waste of someone who could have changed the world. He looked at Carlos and the other entrepreneurs. This building is my promise that we won't waste anyone else. The 15 startups starting here today represent 15 chances to do things right. Fair pay, real equity, respect, support, everything that should have been given to Emma 20 years ago. Elon pulled a folded piece of paper from his pocket. "I want to read something. This is from a letter that Emma wrote to Victor Langford in 2003. She wrote it after he pushed her out of his company. She never sent it, but she kept it all these years. She showed it to me last week." Emma looked surprised, then nodded permission for him to continue. Elon unfolded the paper and read, "Dear Victor, I don't understand what I did wrong. I worked hard every day. I never complained. I taught myself new skills at night so I could be more useful to you. You promised me I would have a future at your company. You promised I mattered. But now I see that I was just free labor, just someone to use until you didn't need me anymore. I hope someday you remember me. I hope you remember what I gave you, and I hope you feel bad about what you took away. Sincerely, Emma Rodriguez." The room was completely silent now. You could hear people breathing, hear the hum of the air conditioning, hear the sound of hearts breaking for a 19-year-old girl who deserved so much better. "Emma sent that letter to me instead," Elon said. "We had met a few times when I visited the building. She thought maybe I could help her find another job. I tried. I really did. But by the time I found something, her parents were sick. She had to go home. Life got in the way of dreams, the way it does for so many people." He refolded the letter carefully and gave it back to Emma. "But today, life doesn't get in the way anymore," Elon said. "Today, dreams get support. Today, people like Emma don't have to choose between taking care of their families and pursuing their ambitions. Today, being in the background means you're about to be pulled forward into the spotlight." He turned to the 15 entrepreneurs. "You are the first, but you won't be the last. Over the next 10 years, the Innovation Access Foundation will support hundreds of startups in this building. We're committing $100 million to make sure people who were invisible become impossible to ignore." Crowd erupted in applause. People stood and cheered. Cameras flashed. Reporters took notes. And in the middle of it all, Emma stood with tears running down her face, finally understanding what Elon had done. Not just for her, for everyone like her, for everyone who had ever been told they didn't matter. After the ceremony, after the reporters left and the crowd thinned out, Elon found himself alone in the lobby with Emma and her parents. The four of them stood looking up at the giant photograph. "It's strange," Emma said, "seeing myself so young up there. I barely remember that girl. She seems like someone else." "She was someone else," Rosa said. "She was a girl with dreams who had them taken away. But now you're a woman with power who can give dreams back." Miguel put his arm around Emma's shoulders. "When you were little, maybe 5 years old, you took apart the toaster. You wanted to see how it worked. I was so angry. That was our only toaster, but your mother said, 'Let her learn. She needs to understand things.' We never had money to buy you toys or books or anything special, but we always let you ask questions, always let you wonder why. And that's why she's here, Elon said, because you gave her permission to be curious, to be smart, to believe she could understand complicated things. Rosa smiled at Elon. When Emma called to tell us about this job, I didn't believe her. I thought maybe it was a scam. People don't just give opportunities like this, not to people like us. People like you are exactly who should get opportunities like this, Elon said. Your family has been working in California fields for how many generations? 3, Miguel said. My grandfather came from Mexico in 1952. He picked lettuce in the Salinas Valley. My father picked lettuce. I picked lettuce. We built California with our hands. We fed America. But we stayed poor while other people got rich from our work. That ends now, Elon said firmly. Your granddaughter, he looked at Emma, will you have children? Emma shook her head. No, not yet, maybe someday. Well, when you do, Elon continued, they won't pick lettuce unless they choose to. They'll have choices, real choices, because you're breaking the cycle right here, right now. Emma wiped her eyes. I keep wanting to wake up. This feels like a dream. It's not a dream, Elon said. It's justice. 22 years late, but still justice. They stood together in silence, 4 people from very different worlds, brought together by a photograph and a promise and the simple idea that everyone deserves to be seen. Outside, the June sun climbed higher in the sky. The building that had once represented broken promises now stood as proof that sometimes, if you wait long enough and work hard enough and remember the right things, the world can be made fair. Not perfect, never perfect, but fair. And that was enough to start. The opening ceremony had been over for an hour, but people still filled the building. The 15 entrepreneurs walked through their new office spaces on the 2nd and 3rd floors. Emma showed them where everything was, the conference rooms, the kitchen, the quiet spaces for thinking, the loud spaces for collaboration. Carlos Mendoza stood in his new office on the 2nd floor, looking out the window at Oakland spread out below him. His office. He had an office. With a door that closed and a desk made of real wood and a computer that was brand new, not 5 years old like the one he had been using in his parents' garage. Emma knocked on his open door. Everything okay? Carlos turned, his eyes wet. I keep thinking I'm going to wake up, that this isn't real. I know the feeling, Emma said. She walked into the office and stood beside him at the window. I've felt that way every day for the past 3 months. Can I ask you something? Carlos said. Of course. Why did you choose my company? There were probably hundreds of applications. Why me? Emma smiled. Because when I read your application, I saw myself. Your parents are farm workers in Salinas, just like mine. You taught yourself to code watching YouTube videos, just like I did. You have ideas about using technology to help people like your family, just like I wanted to do. And you wrote something in your essay that I'll never forget. What was that? You wrote, I want to build software that my father would understand. Software that helps people who work with dirt under their fingernails, not just people who work with keyboards under their fingers. That line right there told me everything I needed to know about who you are. Carlos looked down at his hands. My father doesn't understand what I do. He knows I work with computers, but that's it. He thinks maybe I fix them, like at a repair shop. My father was the same way, Emma said. For years, he told people I was a secretary. He didn't know what coding was. He just knew I sat at a computer and typed. Does he understand now? A little bit. I showed him the photo downstairs. I told him that the code I wrote helped create technology that's in millions of cars. He still doesn't really get it, but he knows it's important. That's enough. Carlos nodded. Thank you for seeing me, for giving me this chance. Thank you for being brave enough to apply, Emma said. Now get to work. You have a company to build. She left him alone in his office and walked back downstairs. The lobby was quieter now. Most of the guests had left. Her parents had gone home an hour ago, tired but happy. The journalists were gone, off to write their stories about Elon Musk buying a building and turning it into something beautiful. But Elon was still there. He sat in one of the comfortable chairs near the windows, typing on his phone. Probably answering emails about Tesla or SpaceX or one of his other companies that were changing the world. Emma walked over and sat in the chair across from him. Don't you have rockets to launch or cars to build? Elon looked up and smiled. Always, but today was important. I wanted to be here for the whole thing. It was perfect, Emma said. Thank you for everything, for remembering me, for this building, for giving me a chance to do what I always wanted to do. You're going to do amazing things here, Elon said. He put his phone away, giving her his full attention. Those 15 startups are just the beginning. In 5 years, this building will have helped launch 100 companies, maybe more. I hope so, Emma said. Then she paused. Can I ask you something? Something I've been wondering about for 3 months. Go ahead. When you saw that photograph on Tuesday morning in March, what exactly did you see? I mean, I know you saw me in the background, but you said something to Victor about seeing something specific, something that made you decide to buy the building right then. Elon was quiet for a moment. He looked up at the giant photograph on the wall. Young Emma at her computer, focused and serious, her whole future ahead of her. Come with me, he said. He stood up and walked to the photograph. Emma followed. They stood in front of the image, so close that Emma could see individual pixels. Elon pointed at the computer screen in the photograph, the one young Emma sat in front of. See that, he said. Emma squinted. The screen was visible but blurry. Lines of code. She had been working on something, but from this distance, you couldn't read the actual words. I can see there's code, Emma said, but I can't read what it says. I had the original photograph enhanced, Elon said. High-resolution scanning, digital enhancement. I wanted to see exactly what you were working on that day. He pulled out his phone and opened a photo. It was a close-up of just the computer screen from the photograph. The enhancement was incredible. You could read every line of code clearly now. Emma took the phone and looked closely, and then her breath caught in her throat. That's the battery algorithm, she said quietly. Yes. I remember writing that. March 2001. I had been reading about electric cars, about how the batteries weren't efficient enough, how they took too long to charge and didn't last long enough. I had an idea about optimization, about how to manage power distribution more efficiently. It was a brilliant idea, Elon said. Emma kept staring at the code on Elon's phone. I showed this to Victor. I told him I thought it could be used in cars someday, in electric vehicles. He looked at it for maybe 30 seconds and said, "That's nice, but we make business software, not car parts." He told me to focus on the accounting programs we were building. But you kept working on it, Elon said. In my free time, late at night, I thought maybe I could publish a paper about it, submit it to a journal or something, show that the idea worked. What happened? Emma handed the phone back to Elon. Nothing. I ran out of time. Victor started giving me more work. I was handling 3 different projects by 2002. I didn't have time to finish my personal work. And then when he pushed me out in 2004, I lost access to all my files. Everything I had written was on the company computers. Elon nodded slowly. Victor sold a modified version of battery management software to an automotive supplier in 2006. He made $2 million from that sale. The supplier eventually licensed it to several car manufacturers. That software influenced the development of modern EV battery systems. Emma's eyes went wide. He used my code. Modified, but yes, the foundation was yours. But he told me it wasn't useful. He told me to stop working on it. He lied, Elon said simply. He saw the value. He just didn't want to give you credit for it or pay you for it. Emma sat down heavily in the nearest chair. Her legs felt weak. All these years, I thought that code was nothing, just a silly idea from a teenager who didn't know what she was doing. And it actually mattered. It mattered, Elon confirmed. He sat down beside her. Your work at 19 years old influenced technology that millions of people use today. You helped create the foundation for the electric vehicle revolution. You just never knew it. Tears streamed down Emma's face now. Not sad tears, angry tears. 20 years of thinking she wasn't good enough. 20 years of believing she had failed. 20 years of looking at her past and seeing nothing but mistakes. And all of it was a lie. Did Victor know? Emma asked. When you told him about the photo, did you tell him this part? No, Elon said. I wanted to tell you first. This is your story, your achievement. You decide what happens with it. Emma wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. What can happen with it? It's been 20 years. There's no copyright on it. No patent. He took it and used it, and there's nothing I can do about that now. That's true legally, Elon said. But the truth matters. The real story matters. Those journalists who were here today, they're going to write articles about this building, about you, about second chances. Do you want them to know the whole story, about what Victor took from you? Emma thought about it. Part of her wanted to scream yes, wanted to tell the world what had been stolen from her, wanted Victor to face consequences for what he did. But another part of her, the part that had spent 20 years teaching kids to code, the part that believed in kindness and second chances, that part hesitated. Victor called me, Emma said quietly. The day you bought the building, he apologized, he cried. He said he had forgotten who I was and what I did, and that there was no excuse for it. We talked for over an hour. How did that feel? Elon asked. Strange, good and bad at the same time. I wanted to hate him, but mostly I just felt sad for both of us. He lost himself trying to be successful, and I lost myself believing I had failed. So what do you want to do? Elon asked. It's your choice. Emma looked up at the giant photograph on the wall. That young woman staring at her computer screen, writing code that would change the world, being invisible while making something incredible. I want people to know the truth, Emma said. Not to hurt Victor, but because there are probably thousands of other people out there like me. People who did important work and never got credit. People who were told their ideas didn't matter. I want them to know they weren't wrong. They weren't failures. They were just invisible to people who should have been looking. Elon smiled. Then that's what we'll do. I'll have my team prepare a full technical analysis of your original algorithm and how it influenced modern battery technology. We'll publish it. We'll make sure everyone knows that Emma Rodriguez, at 19 years old, helped create the foundation for the electric vehicle revolution. Will people believe it? Emma asked. The code doesn't lie, Elon said. The dates don't lie. The truth is all there in that photograph, in those files, in the timeline of what happened when. People will believe it because it's real. Emma stood up and walked back to the photograph. She looked at her younger self, frozen in that moment 22 years ago. That girl had no idea what was coming. No idea she would spend 20 years thinking she wasn't good enough. No idea that one day she would stand in this lobby as the director of a building named after her family. Thank you, Emma said, not turning around. For seeing what no one else saw, for believing me, for making this real. You made it real, Elon said. I just bought a building. You did the hard part. You survived. You kept believing in yourself even when the world told you not to. You kept teaching and helping and caring even when you had every reason to give up. That's the real story, not the code, not the algorithm. You." Emma turned to face him. "What do we do now?" "Now," Elon stood up and stretched. "Now you go upstairs and help those 15 entrepreneurs build their companies. You mentor them. You support them. You make sure they don't disappear into the background the way you did. And in 6 months, you choose 15 more startups, and then 15 more, until this building is full of people who used to be invisible and are now impossible to ignore." "That's a lot of pressure," Emma said. "You can handle it," Elon said confidently. "You wrote code at 19 that helped change the world. Managing a building full of entrepreneurs will be easy compared to that." He walked toward the door, then stopped and turned back. "Oh, and Emma, one more thing." "What?" "Stop thinking of yourself as the girl in the background. You're not in the background anymore. You're right here, front and center, where you always should have been." He pushed through the glass doors and walked out into the June afternoon. Emma watched him get into his Tesla and drive away. Then she looked around the lobby, her building, her chance to make sure no one else got forgot. On the wall, young Emma stared at her computer screen, writing code that would help create the future. And in the lobby, older Emma stood tall, ready to help create futures for hundreds of others. The photo had shown the truth all along. Emma Rodriguez mattered. Her work mattered, her ideas mattered. It just took 22 years and one person looking closely enough to see it. But now everyone would see. And that changed everything. 6 months later, on a cold December morning, Emma sat alone in the building. It was early, just past 6:00 a.m., and the sun hadn't risen yet. She liked these quiet hours before everyone arrived, before the entrepreneurs filled the halls with their energy and ideas. Before the phone started ringing and the meetings began, she held a cup of coffee in both hands, feeling its warmth. Through the windows, she could see Oakland waking up, cars moving on the streets below, lights turning on in buildings across the city, the world starting another day. Emma walked to the lobby and stood in front of the photograph. She did this most mornings now, looked at her younger self and thought about everything that had happened, everything that had changed. The building was full now. Not just the original 15 startups. Another 15 had moved in last month, 30 companies total. Over 200 people working here every day, people from backgrounds like hers, first-generation college students, children of immigrants, kids who grew up poor and hungry and determined. Carlos Mendoza's company, Agritech Solutions, had just gotten its first major client, a farming cooperative in the Central Valley that managed 5,000 acres. They were paying $50,000 a year for Carlos's software. Real money. Money that meant Carlos could finally pay himself a salary. Money that meant he could hire 2 employees. Last week, Carlos had taken Emma to lunch to celebrate. He picked an expensive restaurant in San Francisco, the kind of place with cloth napkins and multiple forks at each setting. Emma had felt uncomfortable. She still wasn't used to expensive things, but Carlos had insisted. "My father came with me to meet the client," Carlos had told her over lunch. He wore his church suit. He was so nervous. But when they started asking technical questions, I answered everyone. My father just watched me. And afterward in the car, he cried. He said, "I finally understand what you do, Mijo. You help people like us." Emma had cried too, hearing that story, because that was the point of everything, helping people like them, making sure the next generation didn't have to choose between their dreams and their families. Now, standing in the quiet lobby, Emma heard footsteps behind her. She turned to see Elon walking through the front entrance. He wore his usual black t-shirt and jeans, his hands in his pockets. "You're here early," Emma said. "So are you," Elon replied. He walked over to stand beside her in front of the photograph. "Couldn't sleep." Thinking too much, Emma said. About everything. About how different my life is now compared to 6 months ago. Good different or scary different? Both, Emma admitted. Some days I wake up and I'm excited. I can't wait to get here and see what everyone is building. And other days I wake up terrified that I'm not good enough, that I'll make a mistake and ruin everything. That's normal, Elon said. I feel that way every single day, with Tesla, with SpaceX, with everything I do. The fear doesn't go away when you get successful. You just learn to work alongside it. They stood in comfortable silence for a moment, looking at the photograph. I've been thinking about that day, Emma said. The day you got turned away at the door. The day everything changed. March 21st, Elon said, a Tuesday. You remember the exact date. I remember all the important dates, Elon said. The day I bought this building the first time, October 15, 2001. The day I sold it to Victor, June 3, 2003. The day I bought it back, March 23, 2023. The day we opened it as the Rodriguez Innovation Center, June 13, 2023. Emma shook her head in amazement. How do you remember all that? Because dates matter, Elon said simply. They mark the moments when everything changes, when one path ends and another begins. Do you ever regret it? Emma asked. Spending $55 million on this building. You could have done so many other things with that money. Like what? I don't know. Built more rockets, made more cars, anything. Elon smiled. I can build rockets and make cars with other money. This building needed to be about something else, about remembering people instead of forgetting them, about fixing old mistakes, about making sure the next Emma Rodriguez doesn't spend 20 years thinking she wasn't good enough. Mission accomplished, Emma said softly. Not yet, Elon said. We're just getting started. This is one building. There should be 100 buildings like this. 1,000 in every city, in every country. Everywhere there are people like you who deserve a chance. That's a big dream, Emma said. Good, small dreams are boring. Emma laughed. Then she said, I heard from Victor last week. Elon raised his eyebrows. Yeah, what did he say? His company is doing okay. Not great, but okay. He moved to a smaller office in San Jose. He had to let go of half his staff. The Chinese investors never came back, but he's surviving. And he said something that surprised me. What? He said losing everything was the best thing that ever happened to him. He said it woke him up, made him remember who he used to be before success changed him. He's been going to therapy, working on himself, trying to be a better person. Do you believe him? Elon asked. Emma thought about it. I think I do. People can change. Maybe not everyone, but some people when they really want to. And you've forgiven him. I'm working on it, Emma said. Forgiveness is hard, especially after 20 years, but holding on to anger is harder. It takes too much energy. Energy I'd rather use building something good here. Elon nodded. That's wise, wiser than I am sometimes. What do you mean? I hold grudges, Elon admitted. When someone betrays me, I don't forget. I don't always forgive. I remember, forever. Is that why you bought the building? Emma asked. To punish Victor, to teach him a lesson. At first, maybe, Elon said honestly. For about 7 minutes on that Tuesday morning, I was angry, really angry. Victor had broken his promise. He had erased me from his story. He had taken your work and never gave you credit. So yes, part of me wanted to punish him. But then I thought about what punishment actually accomplishes. It doesn't fix anything. It doesn't help anyone. It just makes everyone miserable. So instead of punishing Victor, I decided to help you. Help Carlos. Help all 30 companies working here now. Turn something negative into something positive. That's why you're different from most rich people, Emma said. Most people with your money just want more money, more power, more success. You actually care about fixing things. I care about solving problems, Elon corrected. That's different from caring about people sometimes. I'm not always good with people. I can be difficult, demanding. I expect everyone to work as hard as I do, which isn't fair or realistic. But problems I can solve. Problems have answers. And I was a problem you could solve, Emma said. Not angry, just understanding. No, Elon said firmly. You were a person who deserved better. That's different from a problem. A problem is mathematical, logical. A person is more complicated, more important. Emma turned to look at him. Thank you for seeing the difference, for seeing me. Thank you for trusting me, Elon said. I know it wasn't easy, picking up and leaving Salinas, leaving your community center, leaving your parents, taking a chance on something completely new. My parents are fine, Emma said. I hired someone good to run the community center, someone who cares as much as I did, and I visit Salinas every weekend. It's only an hour away. I haven't abandoned anything. I've just expanded. That's good, Elon said. He checked his watch. I need to go. Meeting in Palo Alto at 8, but I wanted to stop by and see how things are going. Things are going great, Emma said. Really great. Come back anytime. Elon walked toward the door, then stopped. Actually, there's one more thing. The reason I came by this early. What's that? He pulled an envelope from his pocket and handed it to her. Open it later, after everyone arrives. Share it with the team. Emma took the envelope. It was heavy, expensive paper, her name written on the front in Elon's handwriting. What is it? An opportunity, Elon said. For next year, something bigger than this building, something that could help a lot more people. You're being mysterious, Emma said. Good mysteries keep people interested, Elon said with a smile. Then he walked out the door and disappeared into the early morning darkness. Emma stood alone in the lobby holding the envelope. She thought about opening it right away, but Elon had said to wait, to share it with the team. So she put it in her pocket and went back to looking at the photograph. That young woman at her computer, writing code, being brilliant, being invisible, not invisible anymore. By 9:00 a.m., the building was full of life, people at their desks, meetings happening in conference rooms, the smell of coffee from the kitchen, the sound of keyboards clicking and voices talking and ideas being born. Emma gathered all 30 companies in the main lobby. They crowded around, sitting on chairs and standing along the walls. Carlos stood near the front, curious about what was happening. Good morning, everyone, Emma said. She didn't need a microphone this time. Her voice was stronger now. More confident. 6 months of doing this job had changed her. Elon Musk stopped by this morning. He left something for us. She pulled out the envelope and opened it. Inside was a letter. She read it aloud. Dear Emma and everyone at the Rodriguez Innovation Center. 6 months ago, we opened this building with 15 companies and a dream. That dream was simple: give real chances to people who deserve them, people who are brilliant but overlooked, people who are hungry but invisible. Today, we have 30 companies, 200 people, millions of dollars in funding raised, dozens of products being built, and most importantly, hundreds of dreams that are becoming real. But this is just the beginning. I am committing an additional $500 million over the next 5 years to expand the Innovation Access Foundation. We will open 4 more buildings like this one, in Los Angeles, Detroit, Atlanta, and Phoenix. Each building will support 50 companies. Each building will be run by someone like Emma, someone who understands what it means to be forgotten, and who will make sure no one else experiences that pain. We will create 250 new opportunities for entrepreneurs who deserve them. We will support 1,000 new jobs. We will build a network of people who lift each other up instead of climbing over each other. This started with 7 minutes on a Tuesday morning. 7 minutes when I was turned away from a building I used to own. 7 minutes that reminded me what matters. 7 minutes that led to Emma. That led to Carlos. That led to all of you. But those 7 minutes were really 22 years in the making. 22 years of watching people get forgotten. 22 years of seeing potential wasted. 22 years of knowing something had to change. Now it's changing. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for believing in second chances and real opportunities and the simple idea that everyone deserves to be seen. Let's keep building the future together. Sincerely, Elon Musk. The lobby was silent when Emma finished reading. Then someone started clapping. Then everyone was clapping. Some people were crying. Carlos wiped tears from his eyes, his hand shaking. Emma folded the letter carefully and put it back in the envelope. She looked around at all these faces, all these people who had been invisible 6 months ago, who were impossible to ignore now. 5 more buildings, Emma said. 4 more cities. Hundreds more people like us getting real chances. This is happening. This is real. Because of you, Carlos called out. Because you showed everyone what was possible. No, Emma said firmly. Because of Elon. Because one person decided to look closely at a photograph. Because one person decided that 7 minutes of embarrassment could become 20 years of justice. Because one person cared enough to remember. She looked up at the giant photograph on the wall. Young Emma, frozen in time, writing code that would change the world while everyone looked away. Not anymore. Now everyone was looking, and they would keep looking. Forever. And that was the end of this story. The story of 7 minutes that became 25 years of change. The story of Emma Rodriguez, who went from being invisible in a photograph to leading a national movement. The story of how one person looking closely, really closely, at who gets forgotten can change thousands of lives. So where are you listening from right now? Are you in California like Emma, Detroit like Marcus, or somewhere else entirely, maybe working on your own dream that nobody sees yet? Drop a comment below and let us know. We love hearing from you. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button. It helps us share these powerful true stories with more people who need to hear them. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more incredible, emotionally engaging stories like this one. Stories about real people, real struggles, and real triumphs. Stories that remind us all that being in the background doesn't mean you don't matter. Finally, share this video with your friends and family. Someone you know might be feeling invisible right now. Someone might be wondering if their work matters. Someone might need to hear that their time is coming. Let's spread kindness and awareness together. Remember, you might be in the background of someone's photograph right now, writing code or building dreams that will change the world. Don't give up. Your 7 minutes are coming. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next story.